Ladies and gentlemen, this is the top story in international news. Yes, things change constantly when we talk about geopolitics. When we talk about international news, we must expect a variety of positions from international geopolitical players. We have to expect this at any moment. 380-degree turns, 180-degree turns, 360-degree turns. That's exactly what we've just witnessed from the United States of America. America has just issued a serious threat to Vladimir Putin's Russia. Once again, this is in relation to the major event scheduled for May 15, 2025 in Istanbul. Yes, I'm telling you, this date carries very significant stakes. So, after the Europeans failed in their attempt to force a mandatory 30-day ceasefire on Putin at any cost, and after the plea made to the Brazilian president to help ensure Putin's presence in Istanbul too also failed, now it's the turn of the United States of America. Donald Trump's special envoy, Keith Kellogg, his special envoy for Ukraine and Russia, made a statement that prompted Vladimir Putin to summon his war cabinet. Vladimir Putin called together his war chiefs. He held a war meeting. Yes, a high-level meeting. During this meeting, he made a brief statement. And so, as part of this video conference, that's what we're going to see. Thank you for watching the video conference until the end. And in the meantime, please share the video conference as much as possible. Give it lots of likes. That gives the video conference much more visibility. And as always, don't hesitate to click on subscribe. Subscribe in large numbers. This allows you to never miss well-analyzed international data news on global geopolitics. So, the United States hopes that Vladimir Putin will come to Istanbul for negotiations. Share the video. Share the video. For negotiations, since Donald Trump will also be coming. So, according to Keith Kellogg, the United States hopes that Vladimir Putin will come to Istanbul for negotiations, since Donald Trump will be coming. So you know that Donald Trump is in Riyadh. On May 13, 2025, Donald Trump is in Riyadh. Why did he go to Riyadh? Well, it's to sign agreements. I said Riyadh. He is in Saudi Arabia. Yes, in Saudi Arabia. In Riyadh. Yes. He went there to sign agreements. He managed to secure a contract, I believe, worth $142 billion. There you go. And so, in the Persian Gulf, he will continue on to Istanbul. So, since he is the American president, it should be noted that this trip to Riyadh is one of his first trips abroad, politically speaking, apart from his recent visit to the Vatican. So he has confirmed that he might be in Istanbul. Obviously, he will be in Istanbul, even if he is not officially invited, because according to the schedule that Russia has drawn up, Russia has said that it wants direct negotiations with Ukraine without any intermediaries. But since he is the famous, powerful president of the United States of America, he will go there because everyone wants the peace that will be achieved to be achieved under their own auspices. That's what will make them look greater. That's what will elevate them. So he says he's going to go. So if he is going, who is Putin not to go? Who then is Putin to refuse to go when the great Donald Trump is making the trip? Let's go deeper. Share the video conference. So, that's the statement made by the special envoy of the American president, Keith Kellogg. In his statement, he also resorted to threats against Russia. He reads, "The United States wants to achieve a comprehensive ceasefire in Ukraine, and only then move on to territorial issues. So, first achieve a comprehensive, lasting ceasefire, and then return to territorial issues. Since the question of territories remains between Russia and Ukraine. Even though the French President Emmanuel Macron acknowledged on May 13th, 2025, that Ukraine will not be able to recover all the territories it has lost. So, choose this. This is Keith Kellogg speaking now, Trump's special envoy. Elected as part of the Ukrainian settlement, the United States is considering the deployment of British, French, German, and Polish forces to the west of the Dnieper. These are support forces. This is a force called E3. It is a force called E3, but in reality it is now E4 for the British, French, and Germans. And in fact, this also includes the Poles. This force is located to the west of the Dnieper, which means it is outside the contact or combat zone. So here is the threat that America has just made. The E3, 3 Europeans who have become 4 Europeans. But I think it will go back down to E2, since Keith Kellogg made his statement before Emmanuel Macron could make his own statement about France renouncing the idea of sending its troops to Ukraine. Yes, Keith Kellogg, Macron's special envoy, makes the announcement. But, without realizing it, Emmanuel Macron has just committed his betrayal. France has withdrawn, yet it was France that pushed the British to be involved. And these are the 2 countries leading this coalition of volunteers. So, if France withdraws, Britain will withdraw as well. It's because of these 2 that Germany and Poland joined the circle. But both of them are going to withdraw. That's very clear. Both of them are going to withdraw. So, in light of all this threat, all of it, is meant to push Vladimir Putin to come to Istanbul. But what are they preparing against Vladimir Putin in Istanbul? That is the question being asked. But Vladimir Putin held a major meeting. He held a meeting with his war chiefs. At this meeting, Vladimir Putin said, look, our adversaries are trying to threaten us. He told his war chiefs, look, we must not be afraid. Look, the moment you start to be afraid, you lose everything immediately. The moment you start to be afraid, you lose everything immediately. He said, sometimes we tell ourselves that they surely won't do this or that because it would harm them. But they do it anyway, those fools. So that's what Vladimir Putin had to say. As for the rest of the content, from his meeting with his war chiefs, we will come back to it. For now, we'll stop here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for sharing this video conference as much as possible. I'll be back with more news for you shortly. And that was the voice of your one and only samurai.